Okay, let's get into our next discussion right now. As investigations into past activities of arrested billionaire kidnapper Evans deepens, more revelations continue to emerge. Winifred Ajawale has more on this story.
Following the arrest of notorious kidnap kingpin Evans by the police, more revelations have continued to emerge, leaving many Nigerians shocked. Evans, who evaded arrest for at least 8 years, was eventually captured in early June at his Magodo home with 6 members of his gang. Last week, he led security operatives to his hideouts, where he had kept several of his victims. And while still in custody, the kidnapper is giving the police useful information that would help in their investigation. According to Evans, he usually picked 7 security agents as members of his strike force because of their expertise in arms handling. This information led to the arrest of Victor Chukwunonso, a lance corporal serving with the Nigerian army in the Ojo area of Lagos State late Friday night. The police say Chukwunonso had allegedly gone on 3 operations with the kidnapping squad and was given a total of 6.5 million. Evans is currently being detained by operatives of the Inspector General of Police's Intelligence Response Team. Winifred Ajawale, TVC News.
Okay, joining us right now in the studio is a security consultant, Dennis Amakre. Dennis, another revelation coming out from Evans, really, and now a soldier rather, involved in this case. What do you make of that?
Well, like we discussed earlier,
yes.
this story is unfolding, and there are more arrests that are going to be done. Besides the soldier, if you remember, there is also, in 2006, when this same man was arrested and was released by the help of a policewoman. I think those arrests have to be made, and whoever released him and whatever happened in Imo State should be traced all the way back. Yes, there are military people that have been involved. I have a colleague of mine who was kidnapped once between Benin and Abuja highway, and he actually said that there were some soldiers among them, and they were hurrying to go back because they want to get their share of the loot and go back because their pass was expiring. That means that they actually take time to come out, do these operations, have quick money, and then go
back to the barracks.
Yes.
Now, in this case where security agents, like even the members of the military, are involved, how more complicated is this issue now? Talking from the window, point where people are even calling for the free Evans in this situation, and we know that security agents are the ones holding him. But how complicated is this whole issue?
You see, fortunately, this had come to the public forum where everybody is talking about it. Churches are talking about it. Everybody. It's become so popular. So it's unlike all those cases where it will be swept under the carpet. A lot of people are aware of it. So whoever is asking or pressurizing the police, I think the police, the Inspector General of Police have a responsibility to prove to Nigerians that this government is fighting corruption. Whoever is pressurizing them to release that Evans of a man, I think should be questioned.
Okay, back to the issue of the security, another security agent being part of it. Why? This is not the first time. You mentioned one, and I remember too, during Emefiele's wives kidnapped, and a soldier too was also fingered to be part of that gang. Why? What is going on?
Well, you have to realize that if I give you a Tavo rifle right now, you might not be able to use it.
I do not even know what that is.
Okay, you don't know because it's one of the.
It's not an everyday equipment anyone uses.
The security agencies, DSS uses it, and then of course even the AK-47. Many people don't know how to use it. So if I give it to you and I said, okay, take this, shoot somebody, You might even shoot yourself. Okay? So most of the people that are using these weapons are either retired military personnel, retired security personnel, people who have knowledge of how to use firearms. And then, of course, either retired or still in service. Lowly paid, somebody like a band like this Lance Corporal is in the band of the military, you know, and it doesn't see much action. Maybe he plays only when there is a ceremony or something like that. So he's bored, you know, and when he's inactive like that, you know, there is the tendency of going into that. Now, that's not to say that the military is supporting this. There are bad eggs everywhere, you know, and it's really important that we face this scourge.
But counting 1, 2, 3 is one bad egg too many, really.
If you put the proportion to the major, larger society of Nigeria, that's infinitesimal. You know, it's very, very small.
All right, in this situation where we have members of the security agencies being involved, is this a product of greed on their part, or is it really time to look into the welfare of soldiers, lowly placed soldiers, police officers, and all of that?
Very, very important. Very, very important. You have to take care of the welfare of the military people. You know, you give gun to somebody, you train him how to use it. Then you keep him redundant, or you pay him very, very small amount of money. And of course, he sees what is happening in the larger society, you know, whereby he feels that this person, some people don't even go. They rent their weapons to armed robbers. We've had cases in Nigeria where policemen or military men have been arrested for renting their weapons to armed robbers to use, you know. So you train these people, you give them weapons, and of course I don't think this is properly checked these days, because you see even a military mobile policeman using his gun, moving around or getting drunk somewhere, you know, and these are not supposed to be. There must be some kind of restructuring restructuring not only of the infrastructure of the security agencies, but restructuring of the policies and the procedures that, you know, guard this.
Do you think we are giving it enough attention? Because you just said these are just bad eggs, and the soldier, perhaps the officers will hear that and say, okay, fine, we're still okay. The perception out there is still that, okay, people feel it's just some few bad eggs. Maybe we are not happy enough on it.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. For those who are caught, what do you do with them? You know, for those who are caught, they should be made an example, you know, so that others will not. But it will fizzle out. People go and commit crimes outside and run into the barracks, and then you don't know anybody again, or non-soldier, you know, and then it dies down like that, you know. No, the military should look at their image, because it's a reputational issue right now. There's a reputational
about the
risk.
institution.
Yes, there's a reputational risk on that institution to make sure that they deal with these bad eggs openly, so that people will know that, yes, we are straightforward people, we have our own integrity.
And put some kind of regulation in place. Maybe, I went to an army days, a secondary school, and I realized before you go to bed, there's a check. You come in and they check and they click, and everybody's fine. That because we were in the barracks. So you have to do that.
Exactly.
So don't do that to soldiers no more, do they?
Well, I think everything has just gone one way or the other. And it's because of the economic situation. We'll blame it on something, the economic situation.
Something has to be blamed.
Okay, you mentioned the woman, the Tina woman.
Yes.
And the Imo Police Command involved in this case. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, he was arrested for armed robbery, and they were, I think, all the way from Imo State. They ran down to Lagos to share the money, and in the process of sharing the money, I think there were some exchange, because that's where all these things happen, come to light.
Disagreements
sharing of
the ratio of who gets what.
Exactly,
and all of that.
sharing of the loot, and shots were fired, and Actually, the police officer who was describing this, although he has not seen Evans, had described him. And I want the police authorities to look at it very carefully. He said that he knows he has not seen him. He was not even answering Evans at that time. But if they look at his chest, there's a bullet wound that he sustained at that time. And the marks will still be there. So these are things that investigators should look at. And then the sister of the Tina superintendent, which is a very high up officer at that time, had to intervene that they should release him. Well, in those days, maybe things were really, really bad where people were not actually fighting corruption or something like that. When they were not ready to play ball with her, she traveled to where the case happened and convinced either the DPO there or the commissioner of police to transfer the case back
to Imo.
To Imo. And that is another thing. When they start transferring cases from where it happened to another place, you know, then it will be, you know, I remember when I was in service, you know, we arrest people here in this Department of State Services, and some of them will be begging us to transfer them to the police because they know that if they get there, they might, you know, play some kind of games. But I think this is something the police authorities have to look at very, very strongly. And like I said, this particular case should be investigated. It might be termed a cold case.
Right now, because of
because of the time, and you know, nobody is pursuing it again. But this is a cold case that the file should be opened again.
Okay. Now, besides, we're trying to manage timing here. Besides the security agents being involved in this, one other revelation is the fact that Evans made fake Ghanaian passports for himself and for his children and for his wife, as the case may be. And the wife has said that she is not aware the husband is involved in all of this. Now, knowing that the name they answered on the Ghanaian passport is different from the original name, which she knows, and she didn't raise any alarm, is the wife... I want to take it from that window. Is the wife in trouble?
What kind of alarm will she raise? My husband called me Khadija.
Yeah, but now that now that everything has come to the limelight, is she in trouble?
All right.
You know, that is very common. People will use different names, especially when they've been rejected in one passport. They go and take another passport in a different name, and it is very possible that the names were different, and she's aware, because she won't say that she didn't even look at the passport. She's aware. And getting fake passports also is another area that people still have fake passports. You can, if you go down to, where is that place in Lagos, they can sell you a fake passport that looks like real. So, these are things that the security agencies should look at in pursuit. Because, you see, a lot of things are coming out. A lot of loopholes are coming out in this particular confession from Evans. And we should take them one by one.
One by one.
Yes. From even what we hear, some of those confessions even traveled out of these countries. Now, some people who are named as part out of this country, but do we have the forensic wherewithal to get these ones and get them really nabbed before make it a watertight case?
Well, if they want to use forensics, they can, because I know
do we have them? I
know that the forensic department in the police has not been very up and doing, but there are private forensic companies right now in Nigeria that are even training the police right now. I'm aware of that. You know, and they can use them to do what they have to.
All right, Dennis Amakri, thank you very much for coming on the program right now.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.